Good evening, everybody. Welcome to day 7, National Poetry Month, starring me. I'm not sure if I'm a star, but here's the deal. I'm going to do a couple more poems tonight, and it's funny that I've been following the order of my book. Um, Shameless self-promotion again. I've been following the order of the poems come in that book, in that collection, and it's kind of funny. Day 7, here we go. Um, and it's funny enough that it's National Beer Day. Um, I didn't know that until a couple hours ago, actually. Just kind of ran into it on some social media type stuff. But it's National Beer Day. So this one's for you. Anyway, like I said, it is Guinness. Um, I thought that being interesting is that the poem I have is as a drinking slash alcohol theme to it. So I thought it was kind of interesting that that's the day that ended up being day 7 of National Poetry Day, or Poetry Month, excuse me. Um, but that being said, I had a couple ideas for poems to go with my poem, and uh, and the idea that I came to, the idea that I'm going to follow through with, is that and I was going to read some of his poems anyway, but tonight being the day it is and all that, I'm going to read a Charles Bukowski poem. Um, I'm a pretty big fan of his. I can't lie. He kind of snuck up on me somewhere in college, probably, and I never really appreciated him um, as much until afterwards. Um, I just like the idea that he just kind of tells it as it is. Um, I mean, there's some coded language in there, but at the same time, it's just straight to the straight to the heart of things kind of poems, and I'd like to think that that's a big influence on how I write too. Um, I tend to try to get right to it as well. But the funny thing about him too is that, like, if you watch any documentaries on him, especially this one called "Born Into You" or "Born Into This," excuse me, um, he has a very tender side actually, and this poem that I'm about to read, it shows that tender side, and that's why I picked it because he was kind of a poetic tough guy, a barfly, a hard talker, hard drinker, hard, just a hard personality, really a hard. I mean, he definitely graduated from the School of Hard Knocks kind of thing. Um, but but yeah, he had that tender side to him that really spoke to me, and it still speaks to me, and in particular this poem. But I mean, notice I did say hard drinking too. I mean, he has a book called Barfly, and quite often you see pictures of him with some sort of alcoholic drink in tow. So that's the idea there, and yeah, so it kind of went along with this idea of it being National Beer Day. But enough of my rambling and carrying on. Let's get into it. This one's called The Bluebird by Charles Bukowski. If you haven't heard any of him or read any of him, I strongly suggest it. But he, for the most part, is not for the faint of heart or the virgin ears, if you will. So anyway, um, well, neither are my poems at times too. But anyway, here we go. The Bluebird by Charles Bukowski. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke. And the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. Do you want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want me to blow my book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes. When everybody's asleep, I say, I know that you're there, so don't be sad. Then I put him back, and he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die, and we sleep together like that with our secret pact, and it's nice enough to know a man, it's nice enough to make a man weep. but I don't weep. Do you? Charles Bukowski, The Bluebird. Got it from this book here, Pleasures of the Damned. It's a very thick volume. There are more poems than I remember how to count in there. Like I said before, numbers aren't my thing, so I tend not to try that. But Charles Bukowski, Pleasures of the Damned, it's a great starting place because there's so much. It's a kind of a crossroads of all his poems. And further on down the road tonight, we're gonna go into my own poem. Like I said, there's a drinking and alcohol theme to this one too. Like there is a few poems that have that kind of moments that are touched upon. This is one that I wrote into my phone actually. I just say, "Hey Siri," and she records it if I tell her to. And this is what happened. This is what came through that. And this is one is called "Thought Too Much, Draught Too Much." I know I might drink too much, been said I do. Think too much, been said I do. Drink so I don't have to think too much, but I still think a lot, even when I drink a lot. So I keep on with the drink a lot, because why the fuck not? I function, I fit, I do what I'm supposed to, I do my shit. So I keep drinking to slow my thinking, but every drink, I fucking swear, makes me do more of the think. And the cycle rolls on, and on, and on, and on. Thinking to drinking to more thinking, to more drinking. I see no stopping either, no legitimate reason. I'm feeling what I'm supposed to be feeling, dealing how I'm supposed to be dealing. So I come around again, nothing to lose, nothing to win. I'm going to keep on thinking too much, side by side, with drinking too much. Thought too much, draught too much. That's how it's spelled too. See that? You can see it. There we go. Oops. There. That's how I spell it. As in draft cans and draft beer on tap and blah blah blah. Anyway, so that was it. That's tonight's poems. One by Charles Bukowski, one by yours truly. I gotta say though, again, I mean, if you haven't picked it up, follow the links that I'm gonna post down below if you're watching YouTube in the description section, or up above in the caption / title section if you're watching this on my Facebook page. But I'm kind of proud of that poem actually, even though I had been drinking and I spit it into Siri, and Siri kind of transposed it for me. But that's the idea there. I did what I did, and I had some fun with those words. I'm pretty proud of my wordplay on that one. Hopefully you liked it too. I'm trying not to make light of drinking. I know that's a fine line that a lot of us walk, and I'm hoping that there's some way that can reach somebody, because I do a lot of circular thinking, as evidenced in that poem, and I know that a lot of people do that overthinking and circular thinking, but that's why I write too. That's why I write. Well, anyway, enough rambling on, enough verbal shenanigans. So let's discuss the poems, if you will. Like you can comment right down below in both the YouTube and in the Facebook author page. Comment, ask me questions, do whatever, let's get a dialogue going on. This is poetry. This isn't choir music or whatever. You don't have to be quiet about it. Let's talk about it. If you got questions, concerns, just curiosities, let me know, or just comments, let me know. Even criticisms, I'll take them if they're constructive. All right, but enough of the rambling. I'm hoping everybody's doing very well on this April 7th, this day 7 of National Poetry Month. All right, have a good night, everybody. One love.